Hello, welcome back to Fist Entertainment. Now, I said I have some goodies coming up, and yeah, the Alien franchise and the Predator franchise, which was in popular demand for me to go ahead and review the very unfaithful Aliens vs Predator films as well. Which you'll hopefully be seeing those before you see this review, because I will be uploading all of that at the same time to save time, of course. But a big goodie franchise that people have been asking me to review for a very long time. Well, now it's time. And I have watched all 6 of these films over the past 6 days. Except for today. Today I watched a bunch of random horror films, which I will be reviewing those probably throughout the week while I'm watching the next franchise. And I will announce what that's going to be and the controversies that will come with this channel on doing that. Because it means that for the new, fresher takes on those movies, I'm going to have to delete the original reviews for those movies. At least the 4K reviews. And we'll get to that after we're done with this. But let's talk about Scream in 4K. Well, I was 13 years old when this film came out. And I'm 40 years old now, so that tells you how old this movie is. Scream was created by Freddy Krueger's creator, Wes Craven. And it's kind of his take on the publicity of horror films and how they kind of have lost their way over the years. So it's kind of a parody of that sort of thing. But I don't think Wes Craven himself could have ever have seen the success this first film would have launched. And I'm glad that it did, because in my opinion, it's definitely one of the better ones. One of the better franchises out there. You just have to think a little bit to enjoy it. Granted, is it aimed more towards youthful people younger than me? That's debatable, because people don't realize is this was made in 1996 when I was 13 years old. And so yes, I would say it's not aimed at younger people, it's aimed at people like me. A child of both the 80s and the 90s. So it's really, a child of the 80s and a teenager of the 90s. It's really designed for somebody like me. It's not designed for new youthful people. They watch it because they find it appealing. But things have changed a little bit from my generation to the next 2 generations. Well, my experience with Scream, I've always liked this movie. I've always liked it. Is it my favorite movie in the Scream franchise? No. Is it up there? It possibly in the top 3? Maybe. But I will let you know. It might be. Or it might not be. You'll have to wait. I might do a ranking of this at the last 2 minutes when I review the 6th film, which I will be doing tonight as well. Alright, well, let's read the back of it and see the plot here, shall we? Neve Campbell leads an all-star cast in this iconic slasher thriller that launched the Scream franchise and breathed new life into the horror genre. After a series of mysterious deaths befalls their small town, an offbeat group of friends, led by Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell, becomes the target of a masked murderer. As the body count rises, Sidney and her friends turn to the rules of horror films to help navigate the real-life terror they're living in. Also starring Courtney Cox, David Arquette, Scott Unick, Matthew Lillard, Rose McGavin, and Drew Barrymore. Buckle up for a irresistible killer ride. Okay. I've also have owned every iteration of this movie on physical media. The VHS, the original bare bones DVD, the which is a series DVD, the Blu-ray from Lionsgate, and now, obviously, the 4K. Now, before I go on about the packaging of all this stuff, yes, there are steelbooks for the first 3 films, but unfortunately all I have is a steelbook for the second one, and I do know there's steelbooks for 5 and 6, but they weren't around when I got them. Not to mention at the time, I forgot how much I liked this franchise, and so I didn't think highly of it at the time. Now that I've watched all 6 of these films, my opinion has definitely changed. Alright, well, all I can say is this film is definitely a much watch film for horror fans of all kinds, because it has a good flow to it. It has a very intelligent story to it. The flow of the film is good. It does have that 1990s nostalgia going on about it, so it definitely does kind of feel like you're back in 1996. This is more like a 1990s film. Now let's go on to the quality of the film. This new 4K restoration is actually pretty damn good. Now, Paramount did a good job on these 4Ks in my opinion, because this is supposed to be a 4K 2160 Dolby Vision type of movie. But I don't have Dolby Vision, and my HDR10 television really brings a lot to the picture of this movie, and that's not usually the case with a Dolby Vision heavy movie. Usually HDR10 can help out a little bit, but you're always going to tell that it's designed for Dolby Vision. I actually had to read up on all of these films because it looked like it was an HDR heavy movie franchise when it indeed wasn't, except for maybe the exception of the last 2 films. But yeah, very good. This is not like Independence Day. The problem with Independence Day, which I will eventually review that in 4K, is that one has those 1990s elements so much that it kind of looks like a 1990s film. But with that said, though, when I did watch it, I didn't watch it on a true 4K display, so my opinion might change on that one too. It definitely has changed on Scream Part 1, because it doesn't have that 90s grainy look to the film. It actually is a very clean image, and that you can definitely tell a lot of work went into the restoration on this film. And the picture is really nice. The color spectrum is definitely much more enhanced than I've ever seen it. There's good use of deep blacks, and like I said, it looks like an HDR driven movie, but it's a Dolby Vision, and it's just crazy how technologies can operate when hand to hand with each other and put out for a very beautiful looking picture. As for the 5.1 DTS HDMA sound presentation, it's better than the Blu-ray was. I can definitely give you that, but it's not reference quality by any count. Matter of fact, up to, I say, the 5th in the 6th film, none of these really are. But I can definitely say that it's not a bad sound presentation. You're still going to have a lot of moments you're going to be engaged by a sound presentation basis to the film, for sure. And if you haven't seen this movie, there's so many ways to watch it. You can watch it on streaming. You can do what I think you all should be doing, period, which is buy the bloody movie, because you're not supporting this franchise by watching it on the streaming service. And because we actually are, I'm already talking about that all I need to say about Scream in 4K. I will give me a few minutes to talk about a few things. Because everybody went under mine out of this new writer's strike and actor's strike, right? Well, did you guys ever stop to ask yourself why there was a writer's strike and an actor's strike, and now you're having a visual effects department strike while you're having motion picture strikes going on every other day? Well, I'll tell you why, people. I'll tell you exactly why. Because the filmmakers, the actors, the producers in the movie studios probably only bring home about, at best, 6 to 7%, possibly 10% of the profits when you guys go ahead and wait for a movie to come out to rent or buy in whatever format that you fancy on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime makes 90%. They get 90% of the revenue from it. The movie studio, the actors, the writers, the producers, the directors, they get next to nothing. They get barely anything from it. So you're not supporting movies, you're not supporting performers, you're not supporting filmmakers, you're not supporting film studios by streaming. In fact, you probably would have better content and probably would have better writing in films. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are talking about how the quality of movies has gone down. Quality of movies had gone down because nobody buys. Well, obviously, people still buy physical media, but not enough people are. Now, the good news is not enough people are buying it, but yet enough people are, because physical media is big and alive. And I will address more about that in the next video because we are out of time. I like to keep this under 12.5 minutes. So, haven't seen Scream? Check it out, and I'll see you on the next one.